everyone, I'm Drea. I am one of On's newer groomers. I started working with her back in January, we absolutely love what we do working with your dogs. And I think I speak for everybody, On and the other girls, when I say that we miss everybody. We miss all of you. We miss seeing your dogs and working with them and doing what we love. But this quarantine, it's a pain, but this is what we've got to do to keep our families safe. So I hope you guys are all doing well and staying safe. Maddie, you like being the center of attention, don't you? This is my girl Maddie. I'm going to be demonstrating trimming around the face today. I know it doesn't look like she needs it too bad, but she's what I got to work with, and hopefully it'll make it clear for you guys how to safely do that. But what I'm also going to go over today is the tools. Maddie, you need to have a seat, girlie. Have a seat. You sit, please. Thank you. You just wait. All right, so first what I want to do is show you what kind of tools you want to have on hand, because I know it's a pain waiting for our salon to open back up. It's a pain waiting for our own personal grooming salons to open back up. I'm waiting for my own haircut. But we'll see what we can do for you as far as what you can do at home. So first thing you want to have, of course, is stuff for brushing. That is absolutely the most important thing you can do right now, is brushing your dog. So what I have at home, I actually have an old pin brush that I've had for years. In fact, it's been chewed on and everything by puppies, right? And this I just use to go through and just break up any mats that are starting to form. So when I'm brushing through here, it just kind of breaks everything up. And then, and you can also use a brush like a slicker brush that has a lot of those finer metal needles that kind of work through those matting spots as well. And then what you want to do is always have a comb to go back through. Make sure you got everything. Make sure everything is cleared out. Hi, you're very cute. I'm easily distracted, can you tell? And then, besides the brushing, and if you have any questions as far as what brush is best to use for your different dog's coat, please ask those questions. We definitely want to answer those questions for you. And let us know what you have at home, what works best for you. Maybe we can work together and just kind of help everybody out, So another thing you want to have is, of course, nail clippers. I know not all dogs handle this well, and it's very difficult, especially if you're doing it at home and you're not used to doing it. It can be very difficult. But if you are one of those people that wants to try doing it at home, having a good pair of nail clippers is a good idea. These are actually the JW brand that you can get from that fish place, or actually a lot of different dog pet stores around here. And it's actually technically one of the cheaper brands, but I like it because I'm left-handed, and not all clippers are made the same for lefties. So these are the ones that I found work best for me personally as far as how I grip the clippers. But there are a couple different options out there. And again, if you found a pair of clippers that works best for you, leave them in the comments. Let us know, and that way we can also let other clients know what works best for them. And then there's also the nail Dremel, which I don't have in front of me, of course. I'm very unprepared for this, aren't I? But there is also simple nail Dremel tools that are out there, and that simply files down the nail. That actually could be better than doing the nail trimming. Just sit there and use that machine to kind of file it down. Maybe that's better for your dog. At Details, we do always try to do both. We'll do the nail clipping and then the Dremel, because for us we found that seems to be the best for the dogs as far as getting the nail as short as possible, and also for the dog's comfort. Good girl. Now, as far as clippers go, you've all asked a lot of questions about what kind of clippers are best to use. Now, there are a couple different options, and we wouldn't suggest getting one of the high-end clippers unless you plan on forever and always grooming your dog at home. But what I have, these are my professional grooming clippers. These are the Oster A6, and these are ones that you have to get the separate blade and they clip on like that. Now, if you do find one of these for fairly inexpensive, you want to have a 10 blade, if you can see the 10 blade. And that is really good for cleaning out the paw pads and the sanitary area and doing those basic grooming care, home care areas. So if you have any other questions about the different kind of blades for this kind of clipper, please leave those questions in the comments as well. Now there are other options for clippers. I know On was suggesting using the, I believe it was the Wall. It has multiple settings. That's WAHL is the brand name. And you can look that up on Amazon. There are clippers that have multiple settings from a 9 to a 40 as far as the different blade lengths. And those are really good to, again, get those areas that you want to get when you're doing basic home grooming as far as the sanitary area and cleaning out the paws. If you want to go a very thrifty option, just to kind of make it through the quarantine until we open back up, there is, it sounds really cheap, but a little tiny clippers, and I have them somewhere, but I just moved, so I haven't found all my things yet. Everything's still kind of in shambles and in boxes. You'd think I'd have more time to organize my things, but you know, this is how quarantine goes, I suppose. But there are these tiny clippers that you can get from Walmart, and they're actually only about 10 bucks. And those actually work really well. I believe the blade is about a 40, so you want to be careful with those. But they are really good to just lightly scoop the hair out of the paw pads and the sanitary area. And I will be showing you a video later on about how to clean those areas properly. So if you're not sure how to do those, I would not suggest trying it on your own before seeing either one of our videos, or look on YouTube and find a video on how to do that safely. But I should have my clippers by then, my small clippers, that I can show you how to do that properly. And then scissors is the last thing. Now what I have these smaller scissors that I use regularly for grooming smaller dogs. I have my straight shears and my thinning shears here. I also have curved shears and other things like that for larger dogs. But these are actually, the ones that I have are not very expensive. They are good for professional grooming, but they are more affordable. So these are available. This brand is actually the Purple Dragon. There's also a brand called Lily's Pet, and both of those are affordable but professional grade grooming shears. So if you want to have a set of straight shears and thinning shears, you know, that's a good option. Now what we would suggest though, if you are uncomfortable with cutting your dog's hair at all, but you feel like it's time to start working on that, we would suggest getting one of the ballpoint pair of scissors. Now those have, instead of the regular point on the scissors, there's just a rounded tip. And they're usually a bit smaller, but there are different options. If you look that up again on Amazon, you should be able to find a ballpoint scissors. And those are just safety scissors because obviously scissors are very sharp. And we want it to be for what we're doing, but we also want you to be as safe as possible. So that's an option there as well. All right, I think that's all I've got on tools for now. Now I'm going to show you how to trim your dog's face. Are you ready for this? You want to take a nap instead? Tough luck, Cookie. All right, have a seat. Sit. All right, sit. So I'm going to show you guys how to do this as safely as possible. I'm kind of going to go into the details, but again, any questions, please ask. We really do want to help as much as we can through this chaos with the quarantine. We really want to be available for you guys and be a source for you. So first thing I want to show you is, you know, most dogs are going to want to like run around. Now Maddie's very used to me grooming her now. She has not always been this way. When she was younger, it was very, very difficult to groom her. But now she's so used to me doing it all the time that she's actually very, very good for me. But instead of like, you know, just holding on and hoping that she doesn't move around, you want to have a secure grip to make sure you're not going to accidentally poke your dog in the eye or anything horrible like that. So what we do is we actually hold on to the hair on the chin. You don't want to like grip it so you're like ripping the hair out of the face. That just wouldn't be comfortable, right? But you want to have a secure grip on the chin. As you can see, if she tries to move away, it's not really gonna, I mean, even just now she just did that. She's not gonna get away from me. And she has some freedom to move, but she also knows that she's not going anywhere. So this is the best way to keep your dog safe when you're doing this. And then you can use your dominant hand, your free hand, to do everything else. So the first thing I want to show you is what you're going to do to get this hair above here. Like I said, she got groomed just before the quarantine, so she looks all right. But she still has some hair that we can trim. So the first thing you want to do is actually comb this hair forward to cut what we call the visor. And you want to pull it forward. And if you can see, I'm going to pull her head down so you can kind of see what I'm doing. So you can see all that's coming above and in front of her eyes. I'm going to cut all of this straight across. Now, before I do this, I want to point out one thing you always, 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 I cannot emphasize this enough, always be aware of is where the point of your scissors are. Because that's the part that's going, like you want to know it's going straight. You want to know where it is. It's not going into the eye. It's not going towards the skin. Where that point of your scissors are. So, Maddie, can you, honey, I know, it's so exhausting, isn't it? Okay, come here. So I'm going to comb it down and I'm just going to trim right across here. And if you're nervous, don't be afraid to just take a little bit off at a time. You know, if you can't see it clearly, just take a little bit off and a little bit more until you can see more clearly and then keep going. Now I usually go over this a couple times because as you can see, especially on the sides, usually I miss some. So I'm just going to do it again. Okay, and when you're cutting, I should also mention this. Best thing to do is if you brace the scissors with your index finger and just kind of hold that steady and then just move your thumb if you can. It's kind of tough. It actually took me forever to figure out how to do that properly as a groomer, but that's actually a really good way to keep your scissors steady and get that straight line and also keep your dog safe. All right, you. I know. This is a bit of a pain, isn't it? You got hair on your nose. All right. Now, I could probably do a little bit more here. Excuse me, as I'm a little bit of a perfectionist sometimes. See how I'm watching where my point is, right around the corners there? I'm keeping an eye on that corner, on that point. Oh my goodness, I can talk. Ah! All right. So, and you know, because this is home grooming, you don't have to make it perfect. It's not the end of the world if it's not perfect. But if you do want to make it a little more perfect, that's why you would need something like thinning shears. Now these are really cool. They only cut some of the hair and you can kind of shape, like see how this is sticking out here? I can just kind of shape that a little bit. It's not cutting a full line, it's just taking a little bit off at a time so you can kind of make it. Yeah. Someone walking in and invading my video space. All right. So the next part is the scary part, right? It's right in here at the eyes. Now, you want to be, again, aware of where the point of your scissors are because right in here, you don't want to come at it like that. Good girl, Maddie, you're being very good. You want to come in like this. You don't want to point into your dog's face. That just would not be safe. Another thing you want to do is you don't want to lift that hair because there is some loose skin there. You don't want to lift that hair and just chop it off. That's just not safe. So again, you want to have a nice hold of your dog. And first thing you want to do is actually just comb this out. Just be careful, don't poke their eye with the comb either. That just wouldn't be comfortable. It's not the end of the world if it happens, but it's not comfortable. You want to try and keep your dog safe and happy. So as you can see, there is a good bit of hair that I can cut there on her eye. You can kind of see it anyway. I can see it a little better than you guys can. But, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to cut that. And just pull it back and we'll see how we did. Did we get it all? There's a little bit more that could go in there. Again, coming in from the top, not pointing in. Just like that. And then we want to get some of this hair towards the front because that's still going to be blocking their vision a little bit, right? So you're just going to come forward. Again, keeping your scissors steady. And you don't want to press in. You don't want to press into their face when you're cutting. You want to kind of keep it just lightly touch it in there and you can trim there. I hope this is clear. I'm not always the best at explaining things, but I hope this is clear. And we're going to do it to the other side really quick. Like I said, Maddie has been recently groomed, so she doesn't need too much done to her. I don't know if you can even see this clearly. But, you know, there's a little bit there that could get removed, you know. So, again, not pointing the point in there. I'm coming up from the top and setting it carefully in there. Now, some people feel comfortable doing this with clippers. I've never felt comfortable with that, personally. It's just not what I want to do. I would rather use scissors in here. Now, that is showing you how to do it with the straight scissors because that's probably what you have more readily available. I do want to say, if you are using whatever scissors you have available, use smaller scissors like this. I would not use like the big chunky like school scissors. You know what I'm talking about? Or like kitchen shears. Not a good idea. You want something small that you can manipulate easily. Now, the other option here, if you end up getting a more professional set that has thinning shears, you can stop it. Okay. I mean, she's trying to get away from me, but I've got a good grip on her. I'm going to just take this in here and kind of run it along her nose. Just very carefully, very lightly, not pressing, not pulling up the hair like while cutting because I don't want to get that skin in there. That would be so painful and uncomfortable for her. But I'm just kind of removing some of that excess there. I'm just kind of shaping it the way I want it to be shaped. Kind of going to get up some of this corner off there. I know, you're not happy about this. All right. Just a little bit. You can use your fingers, you can use this to kind of figure out what hair needs to be removed. And again, at this point, I prefer to use thinning shears. I don't think right here would be a good spot to use your straight shears. And I'm going to do one more comb up the top. See if there was anything I might have missed. Because sometimes hair settles, you know. But guys, this is a home groom. This is just to make sure your dog is comfortable and can see properly. It doesn't need to be perfect. This is your baby. You're going to love your baby no matter how they look. And this is just to get through the quarantine. Don't panic if it's not perfect. But I also wouldn't I just wouldn't go too crazy with it. So now, all that hair there is cleared out. Got a little bit on the end of her nose that I want to get because I'm a bit of a perfectionist. And there we have it. And she can see clearly, which, yeah. What do you think? She's like, let me go now. All right, take care, guys.